Hey there, and welcome to my home and my channel, Tactical Alpha Bass Fishing. So another quick tip I have for everyone is knowing your water, especially on a small pond, private lake like we have here. Knowing your waters. I have tried throwing shad baits. I have tried throwing white and blue baits. I cannot get these fish to hit anything blue colored. And I love my blue baits. There's just no use for them here. I do not believe there is a shad one in this lake. But knowing your waters and what the fish are foraging on is a huge tip to be able to increase your strike to cast ratio. Any of these red and black, crawl bugs from Yum, even my red and black Booyah Pond Magic spinnerbait. They seem to love red baits in this pond. And the reason is because their foraging creatures are not only crawdads, there's frogs, worms. I've even seen some small snakes around this lake. So knowing your waters and what's in them is an important tool to have in your arsenal when it comes to bass fishing. Knowing how to mimic or imitate those baits and those offerings for the fish is another important key. Such as, I see a lot of people when they go to worm fish, they'll throw out their worm and start reeling it in, throw out their worm and start reeling it in. What I will do instead, because usually I run a Texas rig or a slip sinker worm. I've tried Carolina rigs, but I love a slip sinker Texas rig. I love it. What I'll do is I'll throw it out and I will fish using my rod tip. You'll be able to feel the strike. You'll be able to feel the cover in the water, down trees, any of that. You'll be able to feel everything. So when I throw out, I'll reel up the excess until I feel my bait, and then I'll lift up the tip of my rod to move the bait back towards me, and I'll set it back down. I'll reel in the slack, lift up, set it back down. Just slowing down your process of fishing will help a lot. And by doing the way that I just described, what I am doing is I am imitating the bait's natural motion through the water. A lot of worms, if you'll watch them through water anytime, they're usually on the bottom and they're just kind of worming their way through the cover, across the bottom. So 2 tips that I have is just knowing your water, what's in them, the stuff the fish are feeding on, what they use as a food source, and imitating that food source to the T, just like with topwater baits that I use. When it comes to these frogs, like this frog right here, when you see a frog go on the water or across lily pads or whatever have you, they're not going to be skiing across that water fast with a reel. They're going to be hopping or just kind of popping along using their legs to push. So whenever you fish at topwater using a frog, you just want to kind of pop it back to you a couple of times. Pop it back, just kind of popping it along. And those tips will help you increase your catch ratio. If you're imitating a topwater or even a crankbait or something below the water, subwater level, you want it to seem wounded. You want your bait or your offering to seem wounded. Sure, bass will go after something swimming along strong, but more than likely, they're going to go after a wounded fish that's an easy offering. A lot of times I've heard bass are lazy. They like sitting in their den and waiting on something to come right to them. Especially in this November fall weather where the water's temperature dropped a little bit. They're kind of sitting back chilled. They love stuff to be right up on them and an easy taking. So the more you can make your offering seem wounded, easy to get, the more likely you'll have a strike. So thank you for watching my video. Try to get my channel out there. I love being able to help people and teach stuff about fishing. I have over 20 plus years of fishing experience. I started when I was a little video boy. And I was lucky enough to have a good dad and a good grandfather to teach me the ways of it and this lifestyle. You really don't have to have much to get started in this sport. And I absolutely love being able to do it. So thank you for watching my channel, Tactical Alpha Bass Fishing, and hope to see y'all soon.